So you're dating a feminist, or you want to date a feminist, or you're considering dating a feminist, or you might one day think about dating a feminist.
Oh, wait just a second, girl. Wait just a second. Who said anything about dating feminists? I think you've got the wrong guy, but I'm willing to hear you out. I'm willing to take tips from anyone when it comes to dating. So please, do go on, please.
Well, as a feminist who's dated feminists, you could say I'm kind of an expert in the subject. You could say it. It probably wouldn't be true, but you could say it.
You're not filling me up with any confidence at all.
And I just wanted to give you some advice, because I care about you.
Oh, please, stop flattering me. I'm an anti-feminist. You don't care about me.
So here is how to date a feminist. Step 1, don't be a bigot.
Oh really? Oh, that's ironic, considering that most feminists are bigots, but we'll let you get into that.
I know this is asking a lot, but give it a try. Just don't hate anyone based on their race, gender, sexual orientation, or anything like that.
Well, if your movement practiced what they preached and stopped hating men and anyone that was against them, and anyone who just disagreed with them or didn't call themselves feminists, yeah, I would agree with that. But because you're being a bit dishonest here, no, sorry, I can't take your advice, because this is a case of a feminist not really being honest and saying, don't be a bigot you, but I can be a bigot. I was like, no, sorry, love is a two-way street, and so is being a bigot and not being a bigot.
Listen to people of marginalized identities when they tell you about the struggles that they face, and try to empathize with them.
That is not a requirement to not being a bigot. Sometimes you just don't need to be involved with that stuff. And why would I want to hear somebody telling me about their struggles? Why should I? That's not what most people talk about unless it's in a very specific environment. If I wanted to go to a lecture from a refugee from Darfur or Iraq or any kind of that country, yeah, I'd be perfectly fine in empathising and listening to them in that setting. But if you're some person I meet on the dating site and they're like, oh yeah, I'm oppressed, oh, I got removed from this job, it's not because I did really shit at this one task that I couldn't do again and again, but because I was a woman. It's just like, no. And anyway, what has that got to do with feminism anyway?
And just in general, be compassionate towards people.
If only feminists were compassionate, maybe we'd actually get somewhere. But no, instead, when a British politician tries to tell another group of British politicians that maybe we need to have a debate about male suicide, he gets laughed at and is told that until women get parity with men, which they already have, by the way, by law, he can't have his debate about a very serious subject and thing that is killing 5 men a day. Or is it 13 men a day? I think it's 13 men a day in this country alone. In fact, I've lost several family members to that, and I do not like the lack of compassion that she showed to my family members and to that politician and to all the other men that are dying of suicide. So again, practice what you preach, feminists, and maybe I might date you.
But the other part of this is avoiding microaggressions. You don't have to be a blatant racist to say things which are subtly racist.
Oh great, so now you're not a racist, but you can say racist things, which is basically saying you're a racist just deep down inside, but you just don't know it. Microaggressions, really? Look, they don't exist. They do not exist. They are bullshit terms invented by social justice warriors to basically control the way that people think and feel. Say what you want, and don't care if they don't like it, because you just go to somebody else who will enjoy what you have to say or will not, you know, get along with all that bullshit that you are spouting. Because this is not very good dating tips, and the people that you are wanting me to date don't sound like very dateable people, and that is why they are the way they are.
Work on becoming less of a prejudiced person every day. If you can master that, your chances of getting along with a feminist partner are a lot higher.
But I'm not a prejudiced person, at least not fully. I mean, I guess you can argue that I'm prejudiced against paedophiles and Nazis, fascists, and any other kind of extremist. Oh wait, I am, aren't I? I guess I'm technically prejudiced towards people like you. No, not trans people, feminists. You could argue a case for that. And I would struggle to kind of disagree. But it's not because you are a feminist, it's what you believe, you know. I'm not prejudiced towards Camille Paglia, who I really like, and I would date, because there was a joke when she was on Bill Maher that she talks so much that she's impossible to date. Hey, I could listen to her talk all day, she's my kind of girl. So there you go, not entirely, so whatever. I guess I'm carrying on with myself. Next.
If you can't master that, your relationship might not last any longer than the Anglo-Zanzibar War.
So basically, what you want us all to do is to basically change ourselves to fit the person that we want to date because they're feminists. Basically, you just want us to, forget everything that you once were, become a new person. Basically, give in and become feminists like them. No, thank you. I date a person because I like how they are, not how I want them to be. But never mind.
Do you get it? Because it was only a 40-minute war? Yeah? Alright. Moving on.
I'm a history graduate and that wasn't funny at all.
Step 2. Learn about the causes that are important to your partner. When we talk about feminists, we're talking about a huge group of people with varying interests and passions.
It's a shame you couldn't apply that logic to nerds and anti-feminists, but never mind, never mind. It's okay when you do it, but not when we do it.
Unfortunately, there is no feminist kingdom with a feminist queen who decrees everything that we have to believe.
Oh, I thought that was Anita Sarkeesian, who lives in Sweden, and her predecessors were Gloria Steinem, Andrea Dworkin, and Bell Hooks, but I guess I must have just heard that somewhere. Oh well.
She quit last year and we haven't found anyone to replace her and it's just been a mess and
Well, time for some elections then, eh? Oh wait, you're not for democracy. Oh well.
Because feminists have such different causes that they feel passionate about, it's important that you learn what your partner cares about most. This is good advice for any relationship really, but I think it's particularly applicable to feminists who have to constantly deal with being harassed just for standing up for the causes they believe in.
Of course, harassment has to come up again and again and again and again. Never mind the fact I have been harassed. My friends have been harassed, all for being YouTube content creators. Not all of them anti-feminists. Some of them are Let's Players. Some of them do beauty channels or other shit. It doesn't matter. They get harassed too. But hey, only your harassment, is the real harassment and the only one that matters. Everybody else, doesn't exist. Why should I then care about these causes that you all believe in, that you have appropriated from other movements? Really? Why should I care? I'm trying to date this person because of their personality. You're also trying to tell me that I should be dating people without personalities and only for the causes that they apparently stand for, which they don't really stand for because they're all hypocrites. But never mind, never mind. I'll date someone without a personality if it gets me in the sack, which is what you're trying to tell me to do. So, okay, let's just play ball.
You can be there to support them and understand these causes, you'll be a much better partner.
Do I really have to be a feminist in order to go out with a feminist? Because that's what you're trying to tell me to do. I shouldn't have to be. I should just be the person that they want. They should like me for my personality and not because of my politics. But then again, there are some exceptions that you do have to take, I mean, me, as a mixed race guy, I have to be aware in case they may be Nazis or racists. But apart from that, why should I care what they believe in? Really, why should I care?
3. Don't act like being a feminist makes you infallible. If you already identify as a feminist, that's great, but don't act like it gives you a free pass to say whatever you want without consequences. Feminists can make mistakes, we can say offensive things, and act in ignorant ways. We have to be able to own up to our mistakes and improve ourselves. It's a constant process that is never really over. You can't just collect your 8 badges and become a feminist master. So if you say something offensive and your partner calls you out on it, don't get mad and don't get defensive. Listen and try to understand what you may have done wrong. Just never think that because you call yourself a feminist, it's impossible for you to act in non-feminist ways.
You're doing well. Please don't do a No True Scotsman. Please don't do a No True Scotsman.
Always ask yourself if what you're doing or what you're saying aligns with your values.
Panic averted. Phew, she didn't go there. Well, not much to complain about there, other than the fact that most don't really do that. But thank you for at least trying to, tell them to do that. Thank you.
Step 4, understand their need for self-care. Feminists are often harassed for expressing their views, and because of that, it's really important that we learn how to take care of ourselves.
You've now mentioned this twice. Please give me evidence of this. Citation needed, because most of this so-called harassment is simply criticism. Or just saying, you suck! That's what Anita Sarkeesian has said that harassment is. Just saying that you suck is now harassment. That's what you guys think harassment is. I don't know if you personally think that is, but please give me some examples of harassment and please tell me what the harassment is, because until then I'm going to say that point is null and void.
Sometimes that means disconnecting from social media and taking a day to relax and do things that we enjoy or spend time with loved ones.
You see, that's actually good advice that we've told them time and time again, but they don't listen because they think we're misogynists. Seriously, if you think you're getting so much trouble on the internet, why not take a break, I don't know. I've done that. I've taken the break from social media. It does everyone a world of good. Problem is, though, it makes it sound like you're doing that whole Onion article thing and what Lacey Green says. Just take a break from being a feminist, you know? But never mind. I'm sure you're not going to go with that angle.
However your partner practices self-care, you need to be supportive of it and help as much as you can. Understand that sometimes they might need their space, and other times they might really want you around.
Basic social stuff, whatever, I get it. I still know what this has to do with harassment. Please give me space, I get harassed. Why don't you just block them and move on? Nah, I don't want to be with you. Seriously? Ugh, whatever. Give me your next step.
5. Learn how to deal with harassment. As the partner of a feminist, you might find yourself on the receiving end of some harassment.
I'm already on the receiving end, thank you. I don't even have anybody close to me who is a feminist. Nor am I one myself. So, I already know how to deal with that shit. I also had, like, years of bullying and shit. I know how to deal with it, thank you very much. I don't need to know that shit.
Anti-feminists rarely take care with where they spew their hate.
Strawman! Anti-feminists do not spew hate. We are not a hate movement, unlike the feminist movement, who blame all the problems on the males. Everything is down to toxic masculinity and all that bullshit. I could go on and on and on. And you're telling me that we spew hate? Seriously? I have not spewed hate once in this video. I have not called you names. I have in fact tried to be very nice to you and give you a chance. But now you may give me no choice but to turn on the harshness-ometer all the way up to 11.
Imagine one of those garden hoses like whipping around, but instead of water, it's shooting out homophobic and racist and sexist slurs.
Wait, so we're homophobic now rather than just anti-feminist? I'm sorry, but last I checked, LGBT issues weren't a feminist issue. They were LGBT issues. And Milo Yiannopoulos and other gay and lesbian and trans people exist, and they are not feminists. So, please tell me, are they hateful? Are they spewing hate? Am I spewing hate for being a straight guy but not white? Please, tell me, because you're telling me to basically understand that feminists come in all shapes and sizes and colours and have different stands and all this bullshit, but you can't extend that courtesy to me. It turns out that this video is not directed to people who aren't necessarily feminists, but are feminists or manginas, and they're just telling you how to basically keel over backwards and be what they want you to be, rather than you actually trying to be a good partner. So, this is bullshit already.
So if some of that hate ends up coming your way, you need to know how to cope with it. Be sure to take care of yourself and remember that your mental health is important. And please, do not blame your partner. It's not the victim of harassment who's at fault. No.
Oh, I'm sorry, but what if she says something really hateful about a certain group of people or a person, and then gets a lot of shit back thrown at her, which does happen? A lot of this so-called harassment is also retaliatory tweets and remarks aimed at hateful comments made by other people. Am I supposed to then just say, oh no, it's not her fault that she was being a cunt to you? No, I'm going to call her out on that bullshit. But this isn't to me, this isn't to anti-feminists. This is to people who are maybe on the fence or don't care, or already are feminists and are just manginas. So, whatever, this advice doesn't apply to me. Anything, this is a 5 points to not date someone. So, yeah, well done. Thank you for giving me tips on not to date feminists. Thank you.
Number 6, don't generalize your experience to all feminists.
Oh, the irony. You have generalized me and the people that I know who aren't feminists, and you generalize nerd culture. You think that all nerds, all nerd groups are almost entirely male or male dominated, and they're all sexist misogynists who have no social skills and freak out when they find out a woman is a nerd or a gamer. You are a hypocrite, so don't go giving me that bullshit. Stop being so disingenuous.
Let's say you date a feminist and they turn out to be a shitty person. They're mean or abusive in the relationship, or maybe you just don't mesh well together. But remember that even if your relationship with a feminist comes to an end, you shouldn't think that's how it would be with all feminists.
Please, tell that to Aaron Joni, who was abused. Psychologically, I don't know necessarily if it was physically abusive or not, but I do know that he was psychologically abused by Zoe Quinn, the shining example of feminism in the 21st century. You know, your heroine. The person that you, in the feminist community, has stuck up there amongst the greats because she was harassed. And not just because she's great at PR and playing the victim, but that's besides the point. This man was abused for years. And then when he finally came out about what was happening to him. He got silenced all over, apart from at WordPress, and then he got ridiculed for it across the internet. People just said, oh, he's just a jilted lover who was just complaining about his girlfriend cheating on him, despite the fact that she did more than just cheat on him. By her standards of what rape is, she raped him, because she thinks that if you have sex with someone without the consent of your partner, that is rape. But of course, she doesn't care about her own standards. She's only interested in herself and her career. He then was given a gag order by her and some kind of restraining order, despite the fact that he was the victim. And it took months and funding from Gamergate to get this man the justice that he deserved. And it's still not entirely everything. Justice has not completely been given to him, because now she's gone to the UN complaining about cyber violence and then backtracking almost a day afterwards. So please don't give me that bullshit. And also, I might just like to add, why don't you tell all those male victims of domestic violence who have been routinely having their cases and their shelters protested by feminists because feminists think that it's bloody sexist? Please, do tell me, and then tell them that they shouldn't view feminists as all the same. It's incredibly hard not to.
Dating a feminist can be awesome. You can have shared passions and connect on a level that you probably couldn't with someone else who didn't care as much about social justice.
I can't though, because I fundamentally disagree with their philosophy, their whole life philosophy. They don't like me. I've lost friends over this. I have lost people who I don't even know to this. People who have blocked me on Twitter that I've never met before. Hell, I once added someone by accident on Twitter and they blocked me because I watched Sargon of Akkad. Seriously, that happened. This is what your ideology does. It preaches nothing but divisiveness and that you can't be friends with somebody who isn't for social justice. How can I date them? In fact, how can these people that you're calling to date these people date them? Because if they do anything wrong, the relationship's over.
But sometimes relationships just don't work out for different reasons, but you still could find a successful feminist relationship in the future. At the end of the day, dating a feminist is like riding a bike. I mean, dating a feminist is like skydiving. I mean, no, there's no good analogy for this.
No, because it's a fucking nightmare, isn't it, girl? Isn't it?
Everyone's experience dating a feminist is going to be different, but if you're curious, I'm single. Just kidding. Kind of. And
I don't swing that way.
if you're ever unsure of anything, like if you should split the bill on a date or something like that, just ask them, talk to them. Communication will solve a surprising amount of problems. Anyway, this video is a part of a series I'm doing for Everyday Feminism, a website dedicated to helping you stand up to and break down everyday oppression. So I'll put some links down below so you can check out my previous videos in the series.
Oh yeah, dating advice. That'll smash the patriarchy, won't it, Everyday Feminism? You go, girls. You go. Seriously, you're doing a fantastic job.